How about a little overtime? First and goal. Mahomes flings it.
Super Bowl.
It's there! Hardman! Jackpot! Kansas City!
Verizon Super Bowl postgame show. The network Super Bowl 58 relies on. The official 5G network of the NFL. Verizon.
And hello, everyone, and welcome to the Verizon postgame show on CBS Sports Network. Coming to you live from Las Vegas. I'm James Brown with the fraternity. Yes, Phil, Coach, Nate, JJ, and Boomer. I know you guys still have an awful lot to deconstruct from that game.
I don't even know where to begin. I mean, first off, it was just a knockout, drag-out fight there to the very end. And both teams, I think, were almost out on their feet. But so many turnovers. Listen, we talked about Patrick Mahomes, but Brock Purdy really showed everybody in tough situations he can get it done. I thought he played really well, bought time to do it. So, you know, congratulations to him, and I know it won't feel that way losing the game.
Yeah, I mean, to Steve Spagnuolo, the first coordinator, offense or defense, to win 4 Super Bowls, and they got here because of their defense. Guys like Trent McDuffie, Chris Jones, Ja'Narius Sneed, these guys were there every week. He used them in so many different ways. People went down, people stepped in, and Leo Chanel tonight plays this big game. And so, I mean, kudos to Spags.
Yeah, you know, Boom said when he was making his pick, at one point, he picked Tom Brady to win every Super Bowl he is in. He said, so I'm not doing that. I am going to do that when it comes to Patrick Mahomes. Boom, I'm right there with you, bro. I'm done betting against Patrick for the rest of my life. Yes. I will never bet against that man.
You know, you're going to see a guy joining us up here on set right now. He scored the game-winning touchdown, JJ. He was traded mid-October from the Jets for a 7th-round pick to the Chiefs. Could you imagine what it means to go from a team that is really struggling to a team that has a great quarterback like Patrick Mahomes? Nicole, congratulations. What a game ender. What a game. What are you feeling like?
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, man. I caught that pass and I blacked out. Hey,
oh, man.
I didn't know what was going on until I seen Pat run into me. I'm like, oh, we just won. Okay, yeah, let's celebrate, you know?
It's amazing. You get traded, I'm sorry, JJ, in October from the Jets, but you get traded back home. You're used to this team. You're used to playing with Patrick. What is he like in the huddle late in the game in situations like this?
Man, he one of the best I've been around, man. Just the next level that he goes to, even where he's running with his feet or just making some kind of, you know, crazy pass. I think he lived for that moment. He's made for that moment, and I mean, I wouldn't have nobody else on to be my quarterback in those type of moments.
There's no doubt early in that game, the 49ers came out with a lot of juice. They were playing really well early, making it tough for you guys. Was there ever any point in that first half where you guys started to doubt, or was it never a doubt?
No, we never really doubt, man. I think that as the offense collectively, when we come together and we get our mindset correct, like we can go out there and do anything we want to do. And as you see at the end of the half, you know, we drove down, got some points, a little momentum. We just knew we had to score. Defense was doing their job, but we never was in doubt, man. We just knew if you just give us some time, we can make it work.
Well, it seemed like the world was doubting y'all over the last month or so.
Yeah, like what's up with that?
Listen, people get tired of winners, and it seemed like people were tired of the success that they've seen for the Kansas City Chiefs. You don't have to give away the secret to the sauce, but what was said to you guys from your leaders, Patrick Mahomes being one of those guys? He talked to me and he said, I understand that we're the villains, and I'm okay with that. What was he saying to you guys?
Man, you know, it was crazy. Last night, they had 3 people talk, Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, and Pat. Man, I tell you, Trav gave a speech that I've never been like, I make you like just sit up in your seat, give you chills.
Really?
And like,
what was his speech?
You can't even reenact it, man. Like the passion and energy that he gave, like you really was like, I go in and feel and die for this man, of how much passion he has, and how much love he has for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Pat finished it off, man, by just saying, just be us. We've been here before. We know what's going on. Like just go out there, don't do nothing special, don't try to be a hero. Just do your job and just be us. And that kind of stick with you, because being us when we're at Super Bowls, being us come down from 10 points. Being us is never down and out. We always know how to get to the end and finish. And I think there's those 2 guys, man, the leaders of that team like that, or the leaders of this team, it's so hard to come by. And with that leadership, it's hard to kind of lose in kind of games like this.
You know, Andy Reid, I mean, you've been around, you can leave and you come back. What's it like to be in that locker room? What kind of messages he sends day in, day out, week in, week out, the stability he gives you and the motivation he gives you?
Man, Coach Reed is the best coach I've ever been around. And the respect that you have for him, like, you do not want to go out there and give him your all because he's a hard worker. He's in the facility at 4 a.m. He leaves at 12, but he's back in there at 4. Like, so you see the work he put in, and just the work he put in is like, I'm going to go out there and play for this guy, you know?
Tell me, Cole, when you were in the huddle and Patrick Mahomes called that play, did you think this could be me?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Hey, that's before I blacked out, though. You know what I'm saying? Listen, They called that play. The play was called Tom and Jerry Wright. It's like a one-way play type thing, and it's a fake jet. It's kind of the play we did for Philly.
Yeah.
We did Philly, the corner that was scored twice on.
Yeah.
Similar play. And the corner, he just fell off on Trav. I'm like, okay. And then when I caught it, I'm like, and then I just see Pat, I'm like, okay, yeah, we won this game.
That's why you keep the ball. Did you keep the ball? Where's the ball?
I don't know. What? Somebody hit it out my hand.
Oh, they did.
It's gone. I hope I can find it, man. Hope they know the number of it. But
no, good luck on that.
Yeah, I know. That's over with. That's probably over with.
Just remember this: you might have blacked out, but you're going to see that play over and over for as long as the Super Bowl is going to be played. How cool is that?
It's crazy. I'm just happy to be part of history, man.
Super Bowl number what for you? Is it life good?
Wow.
Is it life good?
Man, life great.
What's the plan for tonight? You blacked out on the field. I mean, I got a feeling tonight's going to be a little similar.
All I say, don't black out tonight. Remember what happened.
I got good people around me. I got good people
Enjoy
around
yourself.
me, you know?
Hey, congratulations,
I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you.
You got to say hi to your wife that's sitting out here in front of you here.
Oh, yeah.
All right, now,
Hey, baby.
moments ago.
Hey, I want to shout out. So sorry.
Go ahead, do your shout out.
Shout out Bowman, Georgia. Get the camera back here,
Yeah.
Bowman, Georgia. This one for y'all, baby. Hey, I love y'all. Everybody back home, I love all y'all.
That's what's up, man. We love you. Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate y'all.
You deserve it, man.
Man, appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, moments ago, our Evan Washburn caught up with the losing head coach, San Francisco's Kyle Shanahan.
Well, Coach, first of all, we really appreciate your time. An incredible back-and-forth game. Obviously didn't go the way you guys would want. What were the right words in the locker room for your guys?
There's no right words right now. It hurts. Everybody understands that. We knew it would hurt if it came to this, but I'm just proud of our guys. They put themselves out there. They played their tails off. They played through a lot of stuff, and it's something we got to live with, but I know it's something we can handle. But, yeah, we're all pretty disappointed right now. But I'm going to lose with anyone. I want to lose with those guys, man.
Understanding it's raw, and again, it went into overtime, but is there anything right now that you feel like was the difference down the stretch?
I mean, love to score a touchdown there at the end. I could Pat another chance. Had our opportunity to get him off the field on 4th down. We didn't. Pat's done that a bunch. He does it almost all the time. So it was a hard battle, hard-fought game. Went a lot like we thought it would go. Had our chances there and didn't get it done.
Kyle, you're a class act. Thanks for the time.
All right, man. Thank you, dude.
That is the hardest thing that you have to do. I had to do that.
Yeah.
And it is not easy.
I respect it.
To go out there and try to give your perspective of what just happened. And this game was at overtime. You know, we lost at the end to Joe Montana and the 49ers, but I give Kyle Shanahan a lot of credit. Honestly, most coaches still do that to this day, and I really do appreciate that because his team, as you said, JJ, when you're talking to McCall about the first half of this game, his team came out, they were on fire. The defense basically owned the football field. And then, of course, Patrick Mahomes just takes over in the second half.
And you think about those 49ers, they're sitting there looking for that 6th Super Bowl. They lost 3 years ago. They lost in 2012 to the Ravens. It's been a long time for that historic organization. You know this one stings, but that's a great organization, and they've built something very special up there.
Yeah, this is the Chiefs' world, and we're just living in it right now. A true dynasty, and we're all witnessing greatness.
You know, as I listen to you guys talking to another guy from the fraternity, I'm sure you heard some nuggets I'm looking forward to expounding on here to talk about the greatness of that Chiefs organization, that coach that you talk with and the like, and we'll explore all of that and more with the guys from the fraternity as the Verizon Super Bowl postgame show continues.
The Verizon Super Bowl postgame show on CBS Sports Network is presented by Verizon. First Beyonce music drop from space? Verizon can handle it.
And welcome back to the Verizon Postgame Show on CBS Sports Network. Folks, we are thrilled to have the winning coach, Mr. Andy Reid. And I have to tease him because we talked a number of years ago when he was with Philadelphia. We both were talking about who was going to lose the most weight, and whoever did was going to have to wear some stretch tights, ma'am. But anyway, this is what he calls his trophy wife, and indeed she is. Coach, you still feel that way?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. She's like fine wine. She gets better with time.
Okay, go ahead, Bill.
Wine, so I mean, it's all right.
So, hey, Coach, congratulations. We talked on Tuesday. We talked about, your legacy and stepping down. But you know what? I think that thing that happens, you appreciate these things the longer you're in the game. This is your 25th year. No one has ever been in the league, ever in the history of the game, this long and still won a championship. How's it feel?
Old. No, it feels great. I mean, I'm so proud of the guys and the job that they did, the coaches. All those canned sayings I feel good about. They're a great bunch of guys.
I mean, you've been with Spag. Can we talk about the job he did this year? And this team, you got 3 championships. Was this the most gratifying?
Yeah, it probably was because it's the toughest one to get. I mean, back to back. I mean, that's a tough thing to do. And we had the ups and downs, but our defense always stayed consistent, man. They were just dogs the whole season and did a great job, and they did the same thing today. Yeah. And I know you love that.
Hey, well, I love that power play you ran down at the goal line. You put a tight end in the backfield, a lead blocker, and pulled the guard around.
Oh, my gosh. Coach loses his mind every time you run the ball. But, Coach, let me ask you this. You described your wife as fine wine. And I like the Riz, by the way. I see what you're doing there. But some would say your coaching style is like that. You've gotten better. What do you know now that maybe you didn't know in the beginning of your coaching career that has made you as good as you are at this point?
Oh, boy. That's a tough question. I'm more patient, I think.
More patient?
I'll probably tell you that.
Wow.
But I don't have as violent a temper.
Coach, congratulations, first of all. We've heard a lot about last night's team meeting. You had a couple players speak. It sounds like the room was very emotional. What did you hear and see in that room?
They did great. I had 3 of the team leaders, Chris, Trav, and Pat, speak in that order, and they were all phenomenal. All different, which was impressive. You can tag team what the other guy said and just follow up on it. Yeah. They were all separate, and I think the room guys couldn't even talk coming out of the room. They were that emotional. I'm going, hey, let's bottle some of this up. We're going to need it tonight. But they did a great job. I'm so proud of that group. They're a good bunch.
Coach, I got to ask you. I don't know if anybody's going to ask you, but I have to ask you. Was Travis giving that speech on the sideline when he ran into you in the first half?
No. He keeps me young.
Yeah.
So,
the balance looked good.
Not so good. He tested that hip out.
Yeah, I know.
It's like JB's got a new hip too.
Yeah, man.
You took a good hit right there.
But that's how you guys communicate sometimes.
Well, he caught me off balance. So normally I'd give him a little bit, but I didn't have any feet under me.
Before I go to Phil, I've got to ask this. We've all asked Coach the coaching questions, how he feels, what he's like. Who knows better than you? Mrs. Reid, talk about who is Andy Reid at this point in his career versus earlier on?
Oh my gosh, that is the hardest question. Except that I think he's just gotten better and better, and he enjoys doing this more than ever. And that's how I know it's probably not retiring soon, because he just loves it so much. Not that I'm making an announcement, but he loves it. I can see just the drive in his eyes and how he just enjoys his players and calling the plays and trying to figure out how to beat the next opponent.
Sounds like you two are on the same page. He's got that one done. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach, I heard you in the pregame. When you did the interview with Coach Cower, when you lost to the Las Vegas Raiders, the team, to our eye, changed 5 straight games of what you're doing. How did it turn around like that?
Yeah, I would tell you, Phil, it was a wake-up call for us.
Right.
I think the guys just said, hey, we got to bear down. People aren't going to hand you the game. And I saw that. I mean, you could see it when we played Cincinnati that next week. The guys, they were focused in and ready to go. And it was those team leaders, those guys that talk to the team, just go, hey, we're not doing this anymore, man. It's over.
When you started that little run, did it change the way you were calling plays? Because it looked like the run, the short passes, all that were really working.
Yeah, well, I called Coach Cowher, and he told me to run the ball more.
Oh, yeah. We've heard that 7,000 times.
You know, Coach, I just want to say this. Your greatness to me is watching you over the years adjust and adapt to whatever teams you have, from Donovan McNabb to Michael Vick to Smith to Patrick. You are a coach that you listen, you have a sense of perspective, you have a sense of direction, and you know what's right. Your humility and your leadership not only inspires people, but you influence people. Thank you for being you, man.
I appreciate it.
Amen.
Likewise.
Well, before we say goodbye, Andy Reid talked about last year, I guess I heard this, or a year before, about his trophy wife. Let's talk about your trophy husband, your outgoing comments about your trophy husband.
You know what? He's one of the best that's ever done this job, and I'm so proud of him, and I just always think we're going to win, so I just trust the process.
There's no question about
Coach,
it.
third Super Bowl.
Thank you.
Coach, third Super Bowl. What's the post-game meal?
We're going cheeseburgers.
Only fitting.
I got to get off this stage. I'm getting a big head, man.
Only.
Coach, we love you, man.
Andy,
one of the best.
Reid, thank you both so very much. We appreciate it. Congratulations again.
Appreciate you.
All right, folks, the post-game show will continue. Yes, take a look at this. Your guy, Patrick Mahomes, connecting with who else, Marquez? Valdez-Scantling, getting it done. Yes, he is in that rarefied air. We will step aside with more coming up after this. Hey, folks, Boomer talked about the numbers of this guy here. You know what? This is just going to continue on for years. This guy is as calm as they come in. Look at what he did after a very challenging first half, to say the least. But he is simply awesome, man. One of the guys he found today to help him get this victory, Tracy Wolfson, is standing by with him now.
Well, Rasheed, congratulations. We talked earlier this year to be drafted to the Kansas City Chiefs and play for Patrick Mahomes, and now win a Super Bowl in your first year. Can you even describe the feeling?
Honestly, I can't describe the feeling. It's surreal right now. I'm just looking around, seeing all the confetti. I'm just gonna make sure I can, remember this every time I close my eyes until the next season starts. I'm just gonna remember this, the confetti on the ground. I gotta make sure I grab some of that before they sweep it all up too and take some home.
You better do that.
Yeah, I definitely will.
When I talked to Patrick, he called that last play corn dog.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that touchdown play.
Truthfully speaking, that play always works, to be honest. That's the same play Scott Moore scored on last year before I was a part of the team. So, I mean, what other way, to score than, the same way we scored last year?
How about all the underdog talk? How much did that fuel you guys this year?
It continues to fuel us. We don't look at ourselves as underdogs. We come in, every day, working hard with each other, for each other. So, anybody that wants to say we're underdogs, that's just them talking. We come to work. We show up.
Well, go enjoy this one. Congratulations.
Well, Rasheed Rice, he's turned in really kind of their first option in the wide receivers. I got to say a few things about Travis Kelce, though. 9 after he hit Andy Reid, no catches.
Yes.
Then after that, 9 for 93 yards. But, the thing is, they got him open with the scheme a few times, but also his route running. I don't know what happened to him late in the year, but his route running, his speed, it all seemed to pick up.
The other thing, too, we just saw Rasheed Rice. He was one of the guys that started to come on in the second half of the season. We all talked it ad nauseum through the beginning part of the season about how he had no wide receivers to throw to. All he had was his tight ends, and they were handing the ball off to Isaiah Pacheco. But I got to tell you, in the second half, Patrick Mahomes ran for 59 yards. He was 23 of 33, 210 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's what I call about nuanced brilliance and when you raise your game to another level when you need to.
When Andy Reid was up on that podium, he said, how about that defense? Steve Spagnuolo becomes the first ever coordinator to win 4 Super Bowls. He's done an incredible job, especially down the stretch here in the playoffs, of getting that defense, the blitzing defense, the DBs, getting everybody on board and stopping some incredible offenses.
Yeah, Boom, you make a good point about Patrick Mahomes in the moments that matter the most. There was a point in the game where he would make one read and then he'd take off. early on, he'd go through his progressions, maybe check down. It'd be a last result to actually use his legs. But it's almost like he said to himself, I'm going to put this moment on my back, which means I'll go to my first option. If he's not there, then I'm going to take it. And that right there just shows you his greatness. I mean, I compared him to Jordan and Jeter and Brady. I just think he's right there in that conversation, even at this age.
100%. When you look at him, too, I mean, you're right. The bigger the moment and the bigger that he steps up. I mean, he takes over. He embraces that moment. He wants the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
3rd and 4th down, that ball was not coming out of his hands. He was given options, but, man, he makes the right decision every time.
Yeah, listen, this offense doesn't even resemble what we saw in the past. I mean, it is pick, just a lot of little things like we saw the last play to McCole Hardman. And Andy Reid, for this game, how many times did they run plays where they made it really easy for Patrick Mahomes? He has that if he doesn't like it, he runs. So, listen, it's not always about just what they do with the speed with Tyreek Hill. It is a lot of coaching, and it's really well coached.
You know what? Maybe just let me ask you guys a commoner question, if you will. As well as San Francisco did play, as challenging as it was for Patrick Mahomes through 3/4 of the game, when you've got a special quarterback like that, the rest of the team just feels like it's going to happen at some point.
I was actually glad to see them finally go to no-huddle offense. I think that's when they're at their best, especially when you're playing against a great defensive front like San Francisco has. And, when you're playing against that front, all of a sudden they get tired. The pass rush isn't where it was in the 1st and 2nd quarter. And I think we saw that as the game wore on. Their up-tempo offense and his ability to run with purpose, by the way. He's not just running because he wants to run. He's running because on that 4th and 1 play, I'm getting that 4th and 1, and I'm leading this team to victory.
Boom, you brought up something earlier that I think is definitely worth a discussion. The 49ers taking the ball first in overtime. They went down there, they get that field goal. Now, the Chiefs know that they can go for it on 4th downs. They know what they have to do. They know what's necessary. So, looking back at that decision, you do kind of wonder, knowing that each team is going to get a chance, should you take the ball second in that situation?
Well, analytics will tell you that if you are able to at least sit there and you both get a field goal, you both get a touchdown, the team that takes the ball first will get the ball last. Okay, because now you've both touched it and now you get the ball back. So analytics is going to base things on success rates, and they're going to say that you will have a chance to have one more possession than they will.
All I know about analytics, do they take into account that there's 1-5 on the other side?
Yes.
That's Patrick Mahomes over there who obliterates analytics.
A couple things. JJ, when you look at the 49ers, great pressure in the first half, the rush containing him. How many times can you rush the quarterback like Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, he does such a good job, and he can squeak out of there like we talked about before the game, either up the middle in the A gaps or B gaps, but then he can also get out around the side. He can also make things happen, and that's what's so difficult.
And your receivers and pass catchers have to be assignment correct. You saw a few times when the 49ers brought the blitz, the receivers are right there replacing where that blitz came from. So that's what we mean about everybody doing their job and being right on point. Listen, we've seen this team, this offense, ad-lib and freestyle and play playground football. But when they want to be traditional at it, they do it with the best. These guys are as efficient with the game of football in the most traditional of forms as the teams from yesteryear. It just so happens they got a quarterback that at any time can freestyle and show us the best thing we've seen all year.
What 3 letters follow the name Patrick Mahomes? What 3 letters?
3 letters? MVP.
MVP. That's who the Super Bowl MVP is, and he addressed the media recently, probably elaborating on what he told Nate in his Super Bowl interview.
Yeah, I mean, I hope people remember not only the greatness that we have on the field, but the way that we've done it. I mean, I feel like we enjoy it every single day. We have fun. We play hard. And it's not always pretty, but we just continue to fight to the very end. And I know you get fatigue of the team sometimes, of one team winning, but we try to enjoy it and just enjoy the moment that we have together and enjoy just kind of what we can do every single day to bring the best out of each other. I don't know if it was this week, man. I played with McCole for a long time, man. He's always ready for the moment, and he's someone that continues to practice hard and get better. And obviously that receiver rotation, we were bouncing around a lot of guys all year long, and those guys just continue to work. And I mean, just like last Super Bowl, man, it's like you never know who it's going to be. It's about everybody being ready for the moment, and he was ready for that moment in a couple of big plays.
Patrick, when you hear Tom and Jerry in the headset, what goes through your mind, and why is the play called that?
Yeah, the play call, I think it started because Clyde was the first one to run it, and Trav was the other guy, part of it. So it was like Tom and Jerry, that whole thing. That's the concept of the play, and then the motion was the exact same motion that we ran in the Super Bowl last year, and they actually covered it pretty well at first, and then I kind of looked back and looked back to them, and that's a little risky always, so I was a little like, hey, let me make sure it's open. But obviously, Coach Reed, man, he knows when to call those plays at the right time. Yeah, that was the play. I mean, we calling the timeout, I thought was important for us to go over there and discuss what we wanted in that moment. And we all agreed on that play. I knew before the play, it's more of a man design play where Kels kind of comes from behind the line of scrimmage. And I talked to Rasheed about maybe if you can't set the little rub, if you can kind of set up open. And with them being so focused on that, it opened right open for me to run. And I knew I was going to get a yard. So I actually got down on that one. And we were able to get that first down and keep the drive going. He's one of the best coaches of all time. I believe he's the best coach of all time. I mean, I know he doesn't have the trophies yet, and I have a lot of respect for some of those great coaches. But the way he's able to navigate every single team he has, continue to have success no matter where he's at. And for me, he brings out the best in me because he lets me be me. I think that's important. Is he doesn't try to make me anyone else. I don't think I'd be the quarterback that I am if I didn't have Coach Reed being my head coach. And other than that, he wants you to be the best person you can be, and that's something that I think is truly special. Yeah, I think it means more, man. I mean, to be able to battle through that adversity and come out better on the other side, and I think it prepared us for the playoffs. Obviously, we've had a lot of great playoff runs, but this is going to be up there because just the way that we kind of continue to battle whenever times weren't great.
You know, we talked to Mahomes before the game, and he talked about how he has seen a shift in people wanting to see him win and then now wanting to see the Chiefs lose. But first they love you. Then they hate you, and then they love you again.
They got to pay you somewhere.
They got to pay you in between there.
Yes.
But they love you again at the end, and sometimes it's forced. Like, I think Mahomes, the way he plays and how he leads, whether you love him or you hate him, he's gonna force you to respect him. I mean, just look at it right now. Listen, I got a text from a close friend of mine, Amari Hardwick. He's an actor, and he said to me just moments ago, now I have Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and then Joe Montana. And I said, hey, man, when it comes to football traditionalists, that's blasphemous. He said, but look how young he is. Look at what he's done. And look at what the future may be. And you know what? I'll say it right here. I agree with them. Right now, if you're talking about GOAT quarterbacks, and I know I'm biased, this is my era, I'm saying Tom Brady. Next is a young Patrick Mahomes, and then the great Joe Montana.
You know what? They're all great in their own way, and Tom has set the bar because of the longevity.
For sure.
You know, that's what I look at, longevity. Tom cared so much about not just the game, but how he took care of himself and applied himself to not only one team, but to two teams. I hope that never happens to Patrick. I hope he gets to retire as a Chief when he wants to retire.
Yeah.
The good news for the 49ers is that Brock Purdy does not make the $50 million that Patrick Mahomes makes. So the 49ers are in a really good situation to remain a top-tier team in this league, at least for the next 3 to 4 years.
And Brock was good today.
I thought he was really good today.
He played very well. I mean, it's very tough. Sometimes you're just going up against a guy who remains so calm, so poised, who's been there before, who knows how to handle it, and he just played extremely well. I mean, 1-5 is a very special cat, and he went out there today and shot.
And he gets the ball last.
He went in.
Right?
Look what he had to do, though, when you think of Brock Purdy. Under pressure, Steve Spagnuolo did everything in this game today. He had blitzes. He rushed 3 guys. He double spied Brock Purdy a few times, and that was made it tough on Kyle Shanahan. You're over there trying to dial things up, but you don't really get in rhythm and know what Spagnuolo is going to do on the defensive side.
Yeah, Brock Purdy, he never blinked. I mean, he really, everything Spag threw at him, he was fine. He acclimated to the speed of the game, to the biggest stage. But I guess go back to Andy Reid, and you think about now 1 of 5 coaches to have 3 Super Bowls or more. The other ones being Bill Belichick, Chuck Noll, Joe Walsh, and and Joe Gibbs. But think about Reid and Belichick. That's a salary cap era. These other guys had great dynasties because they also had great drafts, and they were able to build their team and keep their team together. And a salary cap year, Belichick and Reid, what they've been able to do, and you talk about the different rosters you have year in and year out, that's what to me separates them from the other guys.
I want to talk about an underrated player in today's game, Leo Chenal for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Early in the game, the 49ers were driving on that first drive. They were down near the red zone. He forces that fumble. Boom. Stops that drive, keeps points on the board. Later in the game, he's the one who blocked the extra point. Think about that blocked extra point and how huge it was. What a game for Leo Chenal. Oh, yeah. Just so happens to be a Wisconsin Badger.
Listen, we got to...
You know what? I knew you liked him. I'm like, there has to be a reason.
There's another reason why.
The guy played unbelievable.
He did play well. Hey, listen, 2 other guys we got to talk about. Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed. They weren't good. They were great. And they made Brock Purdy hold the football, throw the ball. He had to throw it away a lot. That coverage by them, maybe the top 2 cover guys maybe in the NFL.
And Chris Jones.
Yeah, he once again.
I know.
Big man played big.
He played big. And this is his last year of a contract. He's going to get some big money, too.
That's the problem. The Chiefs may lose Chris Jones just simply because of the salary cap, and that's what you were talking about. The other thing I just want to say about the 49ers, too, I cannot say enough about Nick Bosa's energy. I mean, he didn't stop from
he was relentless.
Play 1 until the final play. You could just watch him on film, and I know that they got a lot of criticism coming into this game about loafing area. He wasn't one of those guys that got that criticism.
And one last thing I would say is Jed York and John Lynch. Jed York has got a culture in San Francisco, a lot like the Hunts, a lot like the Rooneys. These are guys, the Mayors. They've been in this business for a long time. Understand the game. And Jed York is a heck of an owner right now, and John Lynch is a heck of a GM.
You know what? We talked about that before, Bill. It starts at the top.
No
and
question.
Your organization probably still at the absolute top because of the culture there. We will step aside with more conversation coming up. Post-game show after this. Well, you know what, Boomer, he's all on top of current events and the like, so he'll be thrilled to know that at the podium after the game, it was Travis Kelce, and Drew Kaliski is telling me that his beau, Boomer, was there with him as well.
When they had to kick a field goal, that it was on us. We got the best quarterback in the league. We got the best offensive mind in the league. And we got the most determination out of any team in the NFL, and you saw all of that today, man.
How specifically with Patrick Mahomes, how much more confidence does it give you just knowing, all right, it's crunch time, but he's there?
I guess at this point I take it for granted, but I know we're in every single game I've ever played in with him. No matter what the score is, no matter how much time is left, that guy's got magic in his right arm, man, and he found ways to propel us, even with his legs, as you saw today.
What did he say in the huddle before the last drive?
He said, let's go win this thing. That's the last I remember.
What's the first Taylor song you're listening to tonight?
I don't know, whichever one the DJ plays. I was just telling him how much I love him.
Hey, Travis, what your speech that the players were talking about, I think moved to tears was the term that was used. What was your speech about?
That we had the formula, that we know how to go and get it, and they didn't. But that being said, I got nothing but respect for the 49ers. They showed a lot more than even I imagined. And there's going to be a lot of words being thrown around, but that team was every bit deserving as we were. And I got a lot of respect for them, their coaches, and how they go about their business. That game went all the way down the wire for a reason.
Travis, you only had one target in the first half. What turned it around in terms of getting you the ball?
Stop playing like a jabroni, man.
What comes to your mind when you think about the journey that this season represented for this team?
Man, with the target on our back, man, knowing that we were going to get everybody's best shot. to have the doubters, to have the road that we went through, man, it meant everything to even get to this point. But to find a way through adversity yet again for 4 quarters, 5 quarters, man, I couldn't be more proud of the guys, and it's such an honor to be on this team and in this organization, man.
Patrick said you guys are going to keep it going. You got a young team. Do you want to be part of that journey?
Man, I'll tell you what, man, I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy this one, and everything that just happened. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity that I've been able to go through 3 times now, and man, it gets sweeter and sweeter every time, baby.
Travis, after last year's Super Bowl, you said it was.
You know, we heard Travis Kelce talk about that first half. He only had 1 catch, and then he told Andy Reid, in his words, "I love you." I think he might have been saying, "Give me the football, man." And that sure happened in the second half. He went out there with eight catches for 92 yards in the second half, and certainly was a massive factor. Of course he was going to be. And now he is a 3-time Super Bowl.
You know, we're talking about three-peat. Can they come back next year? Here's the thing, the reality of the NFL. It's 17-game season, man. It is a beast. And you could see a lot of these players, they're exhausted. They're coming off the field. They put everything into these games. I wonder, do you guys think that the Chiefs can get back? I know they have a great coach and a great quarterback, and that's part of the mix. But, man, 17-game season, and you see all the changes that have happened in the NFL already thus far before we even get to the start of 2024.
Well, what we've seen over the course of this budding dynasty, some would say a dynasty right now, is that they can win big and blow out teams, and then they can win ugly. And this was the first half where he caught Andy Reid off guard. And for those that were upset about my take saying this happens all the time, Andy Reid came up here and laughed about it because they do that to each other. But what happened? After that, he got going, finding the pockets in the zone like we've seen him do before. Here against man coverage, saying, you know what, I still can get open against these speedy linebackers. And wherever he is, you have to keep an eye on him, a little quick screen just to get him going. And this was a superstar being a superstar. Yeah. We say it all the time. Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. And Travis Kelce is always a guy that Patrick Mahomes can lean on. And in that second half, he was as good as he has been all season long. And when he sat up there on that podium and said, we're going to do it again next year, you know what? That hit me. Because all of these whispers about Travis Kelce riding off into the sunset, if he wins the Super Bowl, he's going to go kick it with his girlfriend. He got Taylor Swift. She's worth all this money. He doesn't need football. This man loves football, and he loves kicking butt at it. And he's one of the greatest ever. So I know him coming back next year, that's pretty much all they need. After that, it's the complimentary pieces that they have to get right.
I agree. And I'll say this. They are a result of the collective. You step out of that defense, you can talk, okay, Chris Jones, but it's everybody else, and that secondary is young. And up front, they can replace a lot of people. The offensive line, they just got some new guys, and I'll tell you, they're very solid right up there. And the group of receivers, Rashee Rice is a rookie. And all of a sudden, now they're going to get somebody else. But Pacheco, second-year guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, can they do it again? No question about it.
17 games, man.
They got the best quarterback in the National Football League.
Mm-hmm. Hey, look, Chris Jones, he'll be back with the Kansas City Chiefs. They're not going to let him walk off to another football team, and I can't imagine he would want to go to another football team. The perfect marriage in the NFL is Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. How about this? 13 straight playoff games with 70 or more yards receiving by Travis Kelce. I mean, we talked about him before the game, and I just said it's a natural. He's really just got it.
Yeah.
And he shows that. And for a guy getting up in age, whatever, got a lot of wiggle when it goes to running routes against man-to-man.
That's a fact.
If you're going to slug it out through 17 games, who better to do it with than the Kansas City Chiefs, and with number 15 back there? That's not something that's everywhere, right?
And Andy Reid directed
him. Thanks, Bill. Absolutely. Back with more after this. All right, folks, we're going to take a look at our Verizon play of the game.
Well, McCole Hardman said it's called Tom and Jerry. I'm not sure what that means in their offense, but that's exactly what happened right there. It was Tom to Jerry. That's Patrick Mahomes to McCole Hardman. Game winner, game over. Patrick Mahomes is the MVP of Super Bowl 58 as a second half for the ages.
How exciting for McCole. I mean, he obviously has had success with the Chiefs. He goes over to the Jets, thinks he's going to have Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback. Halfway through October, comes back to the Chiefs. Now he's catching an overtime game winner in the Super Bowl. I mean, pretty nice.
You know, sometimes I get so caught up in my hype for the game that I reach a little bit. When I sat down with Patrick Mahomes, I made the Jordan comparison.
Right.
And people got in their feelings. My X was blowing up. My Twitter was blowing up. But I just got a text from BC with research. So in their first 7 seasons, Michael Jordan, 2 regular season MVPs, 1 final MVP. Mahomes, 2 regular season MVPs, 3 Super Bowl MVPs. So in his first 7 seasons, yes, he is on pace for greatness.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you might not want to give him that title now because he's so young, but I think it's about time that we admit young fellas in sports can be dominant and put themselves in the conversation of the greats that we admire so much.
Nate, how about looking at it this way? If he retired today, he would be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He's rarefied air.
Yes, exactly. He's in the stratosphere right now.
And looked at as one of the greatest quarterbacks to play.
Yes.
No question. No question.
That's all over. You know, you look at Patrick Mahomes, look at all the great experience he had to be himself in high school and college. And then he came to the NFL. And we've said this many times, and I have. Did you think it was going to translate the way it has? And, of course, none of us, I don't think, did. But Andy Reid gave him the freedom. We've seen it mature, and we see greatness.
Since Nate began it, Pat Kerwin, Wayne Fiddleman, Brian Coyle,
no doubt,
Sammy Smith, who are those guys?
Our backbone.
That's the magic behind
smart. Our backbone. That's who they are.
Yeah.
Tough to do.
The Verizon Super Bowl postgame show on CBS Sports Network is presented by Verizon. First Beyonce music drop from space? Verizon can handle it.
Only fitting at this point just to get the thoughts from my guys about whatever it is they want to talk about with respect to tonight's game. We'll start with Phil Simms.
You know, it was an interesting game. I really never got a great feel for it. It was rough. I thought, man, this is going to be really low scoring. Then it picked up. I thought it was very physical. And just at the end, coming into the game, I thought maybe, or I did think, Kansas City was probably the better team. San Francisco put up a great fight, had many chances to win the game. But Kansas City, the experience and being in these tough games, it came through for them, and they found a way to get it done again.
You know, I think this game kind of epitomized what this season was about in the NFL. I mean, really, you know, I think the ebb and flow, the storylines that took place, the playoffs that took place, and even with our group, I really want to say I've enjoyed every Sunday coming in here with you guys and talking about football, the different things that we talked about, and the post games that we had together. And it was a special year. It really was to me. And this game tonight lived up to the billing. I mean, the games that goes into overtime, really the second time in the history, really to me epitomized what this whole NFL season was about. And I want to thank you guys for just making this season really fun.
Appreciate you being the coach on the set, man. We love you too. Love all you guys. The lessons I learned in football will always parallel life to me. A couple of takeaways today. Patrick Mahomes, at that age, you can be young and still be dominant in whatever thing that you may chase in life. Whatever that craft is, you can be young and be dominant. On the flip side, Andy Reid, you can be a little bit older and find your rhythm. So that right there gives me the encouragement I need to really be dominant in whatever I'm doing right now, but also I can't wait till Andy Reid's age, because that might be the best time of my life.
I think what we saw today was 2 organizations who have incredible leadership from top to bottom. They've obviously been historically great, and today we just got to see a great old-fashioned football game go to overtime, and is exactly what you want in a Super Bowl.
You know, welcome to the NFL today. You were great to work with this year when you showed up. The other thing I want to say, hey guys, that hangover spot, you guys did a great job. Bill, you are a natural. JB in the gym? No, I don't think so.
I like you better with your pants on, Phil.
JJ gave me credit. He says I've worked that one ab really well. So, hey, you know what? Let me just say, each and every day, Bill Cowher has volumes of books where he's written down things he's learned throughout his career. I have learned an awful lot for you guys. I never take a day for granted. I enjoyed it. God bless you all.
Thank you all.